Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at noon.
We begin with breaking news. A Cass County man has now pled guilty to a deadly June assault at a Horace bar. 25-year-old Jordan Pendleton pleaded guilty to felony manslaughter and aggravated assault, as well as 2 misdemeanor counts of simple assault. 31-year-old Marlon Klatt died from his injuries after an assault at Big Herb's Bar just before bar close on June 28th. Now, according to court documents, Pendleton punched Klatt in the face, forcing Klatt to fall onto the ground and hit his head on a sidewalk. Pendleton also attacked 2 other men as well. Now, Fargo man is behind bars after court documents state he was watching porn while inappropriately touching himself at a popular downtown diner this week. The documents state that Fargo officers were called to the frying pan just after 3 in the morning on Sunday for 41-year-old Mark Stiles watching porn while touching himself at a booth. Now, Stiles denies touching himself but did admit to watching porn. Once an officer confronted Stiles, documents say he became aggravated. Fargo police were later called to another restaurant for Stiles doing the exact same thing. And Stiles has been charged with 2 felony counts of indecent exposure. Also new for you at noon, U.S. Marshals Service's High Plains Fugitive Task Force completed a 1-month enforcement operation, netting the arrest of 26 domestic violence suspects, that is. Officials say Operation Sanctuary was conducted throughout the District of North Dakota, focusing on Cass, Clay, and Burleigh counties. Through thorough investigations, the task force and local law enforcement partners closed 26 cases by arrest. Now, Pfizer is planning to test distribution of its COVID-19 vaccine candidate in 4 states. The company chose Rhode Island, Texas, New Mexico, and Tennessee due to their differences in size. That's population, diversity, and immunization infrastructure. Now, the experimental vaccine has excited health officials because Pfizer's preliminary data indicates it's more than 90% effective. The government will also have the option to purchase up to 500 million more doses. Now, chilly start to today, but it feels warmer than it did this morning. It doesn't look like it's warmer, but let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Well, good afternoon. We're taking a look on our live sky cam view in Devil's Lake. I've focused in on these trees here because you can see there's a white coating on them. That's frost from the fog that was hanging around in that area through the morning. And so we're dealing with the impacts of that. There might be some slick spots in some of those areas that had the fog earlier on. And you can see in our visibility, we're not quite done with it yet. We're seeing visibility improving, but it's not fully clear. And in fact, Foston is at about 1.25 miles visibility at the moment. So visibility has improved. Temperatures are slowly going up. We're warmer to the southwest. That's where we'll see some of our highest temperatures today. Making our way to the freezing mark in Oaks and Jamestown's at 33. It's 28 in Fargo and 23 in Grand Forks. So already working on warming ourselves up more than we did yesterday in some spots. So here's a look at your afternoon planner. We'll see temperatures reaching the low to mid 30s in the southern end of the valley. And we'll see likely more clouds continuing on with some sun peeking through, with temperatures that hold steady tonight thanks to that southeasterly wind kicking in and going strong here for tonight. We'll let you know what that means for tomorrow coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Definitely a lot better than it was this morning. Getting out, it was single digits. So now we're seeing double digits. It's definitely an increase in some way. Thanks again, Lisa. Well, rising COVID cases have Grand Forks schools switching to distance learning from November 30th to December 22nd, with face-to-face learning resuming January 4th. This will be the students' last week in the classroom. Next week, teachers will have 3 planning days prior to Thanksgiving break. Grand Forks is the only large district in the state to complete the first trimester with students in the classroom full-time. Meanwhile, no change will be made to the learning models within Fargo schools. For now, elementary students will continue with 4 in-person learning days per week. Middle and high school students will stay in their hybrid model until at least the new semester begins on January 19th. The task force meets again on December 7th. The British government is trying to stop the spread of COVID-19 infections with a mask testing program in the English city of Liverpool. Operation Moonshot uses test technology from a California company to test as many people as possible, whether they have symptoms or not. CBS's Charlie Diagata reports.
They answered a call to arms, soldiers and civilians alike, like teaching assistant Jackie Vaughn.
We just don't want to be walking around being non-symptomatic and spreading anything at all.
Liverpool already had one of the highest infection rates in the nation when the entire country plunged into a second lockdown. Mayor Joe Anderson said the virus was out of control.
Whilst we've got no vaccine being distributed, circulated yet, it's a tool. It's a tool in the armory, and it means that we can break the chain of infection.
About 2,000 members of the military have been deployed to test centers, including Liverpool's famed Anfield Soccer Stadium. The first part of the test is familiar, that rather unpleasant swab test down the throat and up the nose. The difference is these results aren't sent off to a lab, they're processed on the spot. The majority of samples undergo lateral flow testing to detect COVID-19 antigens in the swab. In just 20 minutes, mine came back negative. The government now plans to roll out this pilot program to 67 more areas nationwide before Christmas. Missing this year will be the mayor's older brother.
You know, when you look at my brother's death certificate and it says COVID-19 on it, that's the reality. This virus exists, it's there. It takes no prisoners, it's got no heart, and it will come for you.
Liverpool City Council says nearly 2,000 people tested positive since the program began. Many had no idea they were carrying the virus. They are now self-isolating for the next 2 weeks. Now, the winner of a Powerball ticket purchased in North Dakota this summer is almost out of time to cash in. It expires on December 3rd. The ticket was sold between June 4th and June 6th at Cashwise in Bismarck. The winning numbers were 1, 17, 38, 69, and 68, and the Powerball was 18. Now, the prize was $50,000, but the player also purchased the Power Play option, so the prize doubled to $100,000. Well, coming up at noon, find out what health experts are saying about family gatherings amid the pandemic. And it seems like the warming trends are starting. Weather up next, your meteorologist Lisa Green to plan your day.